I wasn't proud to be a Muslim. I wasn't proud to be a Muslim. I didn't want people to even know I was Muslim. I didn't care about my Islam at that point. I was angry because my mother was sick. And I was trying to figure out like what was happening, and I was questioning a lot in middle school, unfortunately. So I was a basketball player. I can actually show you pictures, and I can.
We're not surprised from your height, tabarakallah.
But I was into basketball. I was into sports. I was, alhamdulillah, I was socially not awkward. I was fine. But the Islam part, and by extension the Palestinian part, was just kind of something like, I'm going to leave that at home, and I didn't really care much for it. So people just assume he's another Creole or biracial kid. It's not a big deal.
And as you said, is that because of not making sense of the suffering?
I couldn't. Yeah, I was very numb at that point to like the idea of God and religion, and I didn't really need to think about it. None of my friends were Muslim in school.
No.
It was like, and so that's why I'm a big proponent of Islamic school. By the way, I went to public school because I'm like, I know what it's like. I mean, you literally can just become one with your environment, and it's, not worry about it. 7th grade, I started like asking questions about religion, started asking questions about faith in God. 7th grade. I was a weird 12, 13-year-old at that point because I was 13, I had facial hair, and I was 6'2". If you met me, you would have thought I was 18. So I'm not going to talk about how I would drive a car at 13 years old, but I did. People assumed I was 18. I talked at a higher level than my age and my grade. I would debate the custodians, in the school about religion and faith and like what was happening in life. I remember talking to my assistant principal, spending a long time, just hours, just talking to him about like faith and culture and history and Palestine and stuff like that. At that point, I'm starting to like come into like this argumentative mode. I'm like trying to find myself, right, as a teenager. My best friend from 1st grade, brother named Joshua. Joshua, my height, all right, he's a football player. I'm the basketball player. He's a big guy. He's like a tank, mashallah.
No.
Also looks way older than his age. So he and I decide to start looking into religion together. Joshua's uncle's a pastor. We're like, let's look into religion together. Of course, my dad has no idea any of this is happening. And we're like, all right, let's read into Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Sikhism, whatever. Like, let's just see what's out there, right? Let's study together without telling people, because we want to make sense of the world around us, right? So al-mar'u ala dini khalili like had a literal effect on me.
Yeah, a person is on the religion of their friend.
Yeah, so we were like, all right, let's do this together. So we read the Bible front to back. Ahmed Deedat, rahimahullah, Sheikh Ahmed Deedat.
Yes, we all remember Ahmed Deedat, rahmatullah alayh.
Okay, you know where his famous debate with Jimmy Swaggart was? Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where I was going to school at the time.
Okay, all right. Did you attend that famous debate?
My father-in-law, part of the organizers of that debate between Swaggart and Ahmed Deedat at Louisiana State University, at LSU. Yeah, so I was still too young to really grasp what's happening in the world. I was barely born when this is happening.
No.
And I get The Choice, which is like Ahmed Deedat's compilation of his books and stuff like that.
I have that book. It's called The Choice.
The Choice, yeah. So I'm like reading the Bible front to back. I'm like reading Ahmed Deedat books.
Ahmed Deedat in the 80s, I grew up on him. He's what some people used to call him the Elvis Presley of comparative religions. He's very famous, the pop star of that.
Yeah.
Tabarakallah.
Yeah. Rahimahullah.
Rahimahullah, yeah.
And I'm like, getting really serious about now religion and stuff like that, and what am I going to do, and how do I make sense of the world? So the Malcolm X movie comes out around that time too, and like when X came out, like it was popular to be Muslim in African American communities, like in black communities, people were wearing the X chain, X clothes. They had the flea market, which is like an outdoor market. I don't know if you use the term flea market in Australia or not, but it's like an outdoor market. In Louisiana, people are buying the X chains. Yeah. Malcolm is very popular now, so it's like, all right, everyone wants to be Malcolm X now, right? So it's like, all right, let's read about Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. Incredible book to read, even at that age. So, to make a very, very long story short, Joshua and I decide to become Muslim as 8th graders.
And that's from reading the Bible?
Quran,
Cooking,
asking
Quran,
questions, Bible, Quran,
Malcolm X
everything.
comes out, Ahmadidat.
Yeah, we're like
Combination.
a combination of it all.
Tabarakallah.
So my parents don't know any of this is happening. They just know that Joshua's my best friend. I'm always at his place. He's always at my place. Joshua becomes Yusuf. All right, so
And you were
Joshua-
both in what grade again?
we're in 8th grade at this point.
Eighth.
Yeah,
Year 8.
yeah.
So you're about 13, 14 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah, exactly. So Joshua becomes Muslim with me. And I kind of renew then my interest in Islam. And I also feel this burden of like, I've got to be the best Muslim possible for Yusuf. I've got to teach him Islam now too, right? So like, I've got to become like a sheikh now. So we've got to change our whole lives around. And alhamdulillah, Yusuf is a brother to me. Till now, like he's our third brother. Me,
Still a Muslim?
oh yeah. We just did
Subhanallah.
Umrah together last month, alhamdulillah. He and his
From
wife
year
and
8,
his kids.
you looked into
alhamdulillah.
Islam together. He becomes a Muslim. You obviously
He
embrace
is
your...
my brother. Yusuf is my brother. So he is a brother to my brother as well, and my father looks at him like a son. I mean, he calls my dad Pops. And subhanAllah, our bond obviously becomes a lot stronger, a lot closer, tighter. And then, he really becomes a member of the family, alhamdulillah, till now a member of the family. And over this time, mashallah, Islam spread through his family as well. After some resistance, his aunt, rahimahullah, became Muslim while she had cancer and while she was dying. She was only Muslim for a few days, basically.
Subhanallah.
And Allah gifted her with Islam.
Subhanallah.
His mom, who I love dearly, it's like an auntie, obviously, but she became Muslim and she was in Umrah with us as well.
Oh,
So
subhanallah.
subhanAllah, we're talking decades later, we're still doing Umrah together, and there's
Subhanallah,
our families
subhanallah.
are one, alhamdulillah. I mean, so I'm really proud of him. He's a brother to me. So at that point, you asked about like where the identity comes in. So suddenly in 8th grade, we're going to be like Malcolm X. We're like doing da'wah to the whole school. We started giving da'wah to everyone. Some of the famous rappers today took shahada with us when we were 14 years old.
Still
we
at
went
that
to-
young age.
Yeah, 14 years old. We're like giving we became a da'wah train in the school. Like he and I are like the only two Muslims, and we're just giving da'wah right and left. And of course, again, the Malcolm X feel. We just went full into da'wah mode. And that's really where like I had re-embraced my whole identity, like with